Peepthiswom, and we back in effect. This is episode 23, and I'm here with Stella Connect. I had to hit a little song.
We had some bars.
All right.
2 bars.
Hey, can we give our guests a special clap up?
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I feel so special.
How is everyone?
Good.
Wait, I want to be in it.
Get in there.
There we go.
Power Rangers, baby, Power Rangers.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell them your real name, or we're just keeping it Stella?
I can say my real name.
Right.
So it's Jaysalee, but everyone calls me Jay. Or
Okay.
Stellar.
Okay.
Sticking.
And just a little bit of what you do. We get into it for the interview, but what do you do?
So I manage 3 hip-hop artists, and then I have my own entertainment company.
Ooh.
Nice.
She's on the move.
Entrepreneur.
On the move. Yo, so how you guys doing? How's everyone?
Good.
Great.
Blessed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Busy. Blessed. Happy to be here, man.
happy, man. I'm thinking of how far we came. This is 23 in. Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Jordan. Oh,
Man.
this guy.
When this finally comes out, man, it's going to be tears of joy, man. But let's start the show.
Got it. Let's get it.
Okay.
So, my man Efficient, what's the quote of the day?
Yeah, the quote is from Plato. So the quote is, "We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark.
Mm-hmm.
The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light."
Ooh. Yo, that resonates with me a lot, bro.
Yeah.
So deep.
So then what would the
Deep.
dark be? Like the child is afraid of the dark compared to a man who's afraid of the light.
Your fears.
The obstacles of
Yeah,
life.
The obstacles.
fears.
There you go. The obstacles of life. There you go.
Mhm. Like a lot of times, man, when the fear of the unknown, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps us in our same positions time and time again, right? Like
Right.
we don't want to step out of our comfort zone, right? And that's that same darkness. Like sometimes we get comfortable in the dark rather than
Complacency.
seeing the light.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes just to walk to the switch, you're like, nah, I'm too lazy. You know what I mean? That mindset of being comfortable where you at.
Speaking of which, with Kendrick's album that just came out, a lot of
Mhm.
people are talking about breaking generational curses and all this other
Mhm.
stuff. People are saying like, oh, why are you bringing these things up?
Mhm.
But it's because that people haven't really spoken about it, why they
Right.
persist.
The conversation.
Isn't it something we've seen in our community for so many, for years now? Like the children are getting polluted with trash. When are we gonna get some good music out, right? Kendrick said it on his last album.
Mhm.
I'm trying to stop. I'm tired of seeing the fake butts, all that stuff, right? Of course, he's gonna make us switch and make us alert of the mind. I mean, the consciousness is what 2020 and beyond is about. If it hasn't been about consciousness and elevating it and being aware of the bubble that you were in once and being awoken to life. Go ahead, tell me.
There's a great song by a J. Cole called "Snow on the Bluff," and he speaks on the same exact topic. And he said you kind of have to realize and put yourself in a mindset. You got to speak to these people kind of like the children, in a sense, because you got to think about it. This is hundreds and hundreds of years. Not gonna happen overnight.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
Not
not.
gonna be easy.
Little
no.
by little,
Yeah.
you have to be chiseling away at it, especially in like these heavily impoverished areas. So,
Right.
yeah, man,
Just
I
spoke
definitely
up-
hear. But I'm
yeah.
glad Kendrick came out with this album.
But-
He really put it out there in the light.
So then my question would be, where do you guys think that we lose that energy to sort of face these fears? Because, you know, when you're a kid, they always say, oh, go after your fears. What do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be an astronaut. And then you get to 15, 16, 17, and people say, you want to go to space? Yeah, okay.
But you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Life conditions us that way. It's sad, but when you take a test, right, and you fail, it's a negative impact on you, right? You testing, even down to oh, you can't compete. So what happens is your mind starts to condition. I can't do but so much. That's why I wasn't a big fan of, when I was in the school system, wasn't a big fan of tests, right?
Right.
Because to tell a kid how they thinking is wrong, because you have to find a way to reach them, right?
Right.
But a lot of times it's just a right or wrong. So if you keep hearing you're ugly and no matter how beautiful you are, that's another analogy I'm coming with it, right? You're going to start believing you're ugly. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You're going to
Yeah. Of
start
course.
believing that you're not good
Yeah,
enough.
it's like
So
the
those
fish and the
that's-
bird. The fish and the
your
bird
You have
analogy.
to
play a
break what you
very
were
important
saying.
role.
You have to break that generational
Right.
curse, but it's also like we have to become more aware of ourselves. Like I think that's the problem. We're not aware of
Yes.
ourselves. We haven't really started tapping into who we are, or like we can't hold that mirror up to ourselves and be like, I'm bad. I've made these mistakes. Like we have to accept that in order to break away from those like generational curses and our own curses, and then like move forward and heal. And that's even in the school system. Like we're so stuck on what the society has set for us. We're stuck on what the structure was years ago before we even like, well, like at least me, before I walked this earth, before my mom even walked these systems that were in place that were for a whole different generation and time frame. And now everything's just different.
Before we continue, can you do when you do honors?
Heat check.
Heat check, man. That
Mike
was
on fire.
Fire, man.
Dude, she's gonna
You
turn it up.
speaking facts.
I knew somebody's gonna turn it up.
Nah, you killed it. You
knew it.
Nah, you was coming.
No,
that's great.
The microphone was messed up.
My hands great. I put oil on him though.
Yeah, so he checked
the mic.
He wasn't trying to curve the mic.
Okay, got it. I was like, damn.
What you're saying is
stop.
facts.
You can't drop the
I was
mic.
like, damn, the
that's-
microphone
yeah.
is hot. It's
No, we got heat checks out
On
here.
fire, yo.
yeah.
That was good, yo.
That was very good.
Yo, so, you know, I love when we talk about, you know, fun stuff, real stuff, but I also love when we bring these social media topics, right? Because it gets to show our viewers the side of what our mindset and how we perceive things. So,
Reacting
Yeah.
to current events or
So
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
so
I love
let's
social
talk
media.
about it. So we're going first with my man DeJounte, all right?
Oh, we are? I thought,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
It's DeJounte. It's
you
your
are-
birthday.
It's up to
So,
you,
so give us a
yeah.
little,
Starting us off.
intro onto this video.
So pretty much the video deals with relationships, more specifically romantic relationships between, you know, people of color. And there's always this narrative that's going on that, you know, we as black melanated people, like, we don't need each other. And I'm really am sick and tired of it. So I just kind of want to see what
Sick and
your
tired
guys
of it Let's go.
I want to see what y'all guys' thoughts are on it. You know, I feel like we should, you know, pry this open a lot. Since we're talking about generational curses and trauma and stuff, let's get into it.
See is so separate. Why do we have to separate ourselves so much from each other? Why is black women one separate entity and black men are another separate entity? That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how any other race operates, but we're the only ones who operate like that and think it's functional. You feel me? I've said it before. Why do we get the label of strong, independent black woman? We don't hear that from nobody else. I've never heard strong, independent white woman, strong, independent Asian woman, strong, independent Latino woman, strong, independent Indian woman. I ain't never heard none of that. But we pride ourselves to being strong, independent black women, as if independence is something that we should strive for as a people. Independence is death. Everybody needs somebody. And the reason why we're struggling in our households and our communities is because we think that there's something good about being independent. Black women need black men, and black men need black women.
So I want to push back just a tad bit,
Go
not
ahead.
completely, because I still agree with her bottom line. But so first of all, the reason why the idea of strong black women, at least in my opinion, historically is a thing, is because you have such a separation between black fathers and black children from their families, whether it be because of drugs, whether it be because of incarceration, whether it be because of socioeconomic reasons, cultural reasons, various things. So because of that, black women have had to be strong and independent to raise their children by themselves. That's not because they want to be independent.
Not at all.
It's a byproduct.
It is.
You know? So that's where that comes from, at least from my understanding historically. Second, you can't necessarily be upset that it's been like this because sometimes it's outside of our control as a community. You can't be but so upset at us because it's been pushed onto us. You know, it's like, it's not all our fault. It's not like, oh, black men don't want to date black women and vice versa. It's like, sometimes there's a lot of outside factors, you know? What do you guys think?
Can I push back on you a little
Please,
bit?
go ahead.
I kind of understand what you're saying. I think more of like, it's like going back to the generational curses. Like, yes, it's been pushed on. This is the idea, but I think in the video, at least how I took it, it's like there shouldn't be an emphasis on the fact that she's a black woman. You know what I mean? It should be like, I'm a strong, independent woman because I do this, not I'm a strong, independent black woman. And then you get pushed into this box that it's like, okay, well, you're independent because you've had these struggles. And then it's just like, yeah, things have been pushed onto us. There's certain stereotypes that like some of us as Hispanics and just different nationalities that we fit into, but it's also like, if we don't change it, who's gonna change it? If we keep using the excuse that like, well, it was pushed onto us, this is just how it's always been, so we can't get upset. It's like, but we can get upset.
Hey,
and we
look into
can
the
say
camera over
this.
there and tell them to change it. Because that's another heat check. You might as well look into the look in that camera and tell them your message.
What I'll say is that
That's right.
I'm trying to, for me, what I try to do is I try to understand where it comes from so that I can change it. So I can say,
Agreed,
at least in my mind, the idea of I'm a strong Black woman comes from the fact of feeling
Empowered.
well, feeling empowered, but also like, yes, feeling empowered. And then also because you feel depowered given your circumstances. So being Black, it's like you have these disadvantages. So no, I'm Black and I'm strong. But now to jump on the boat with her, people are taking this and going way too far down the field with it.
Yeah, because at the end she
But-
says that we need each other.
We do.
She said that we need each other, and that's a hand in hand. I have 2 daughters and a son. We all know this. So my daughters need me as a Black man, and eventually, if they get with a Black man, whatever man, they needed me as a Black man. And if they have a Black son or a mixed son or whatever, they need their mother as that. You see what I'm saying?
Example, yeah.
As that example.
We don't have a lot of good examples, I feel,
not
at
gonna
least.
have them.
Like, sometimes we have parents that just aren't around. Sometimes we have parents that make bad decisions and we
Right.
face the consequences. So it's like, we need to set that standard ourselves if you're either you have kids or you're planning on having kids, or even just setting that standard of like, this is how I should be and this is how I'm going to carry myself.
Absolutely. What is it? The human responsibility. Be a responsible human.
All right, so what you were saying, and I love the viewpoints on what everyone is sharing, but you know, I want to also bring back the history behind this, and
Exactly.
and when we look at
Where
it,
it comes from.
you know, we remember after we got our liberation, we're free. The Black household was very strong, right? But then what happened to the divide after the Civil War, right? And they started getting their freedom. They started redlining, stripping out things, right? Then they started giving out jobs, right, to break up the
nuclear home?
the nuclear home, right? And then after the jobs, right, because you know I had Black Panthers in the 60s and 70s. After that, right,
Drugs in the neighborhood.
not even just the drugs. What happened was they came out with what we call now the SNAP program, EBT.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and,
public assistance.
and these rules were
that looked better.
You
That
had,
was a
you had
treat.
to
Can't have no man in
you
the
can't
household.
have but certain amount of income in the house, so that the guy had to literally now.
I know exactly
out.
what you're talking about.
Now,
So-
this is now historical facts. I'm not
So
just
you-
making up.
So but
these
these facts
are
actually
things
created a
happening.
whole class within itself.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's where I was going to head to, and I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say with this now, the problem is it was a divide and conquer, as they always has been. Right? When we see one thing I love about other races, because I love studying, when you see Asians, right, they unite. When you see white people, they unite. When you see Hispanics, they unite to a certain degree, right? When you see Black people, it's always him versus her. Strong Black woman, right? Independent. And then the man's like, oh, I want an independent
I don't
woman.
think we know how to get along anymore, to be completely
It's
honest.
because it's been
No.
divided. Imagine you keep dividing the same piece of cake.
Yeah.
Just keep on cutting it. After a while,
cake won't-
you're not gonna know what the original cake looks
you're going
like.
to think everybody just get
Exactly.
crumbs. You're born getting
you're
crumbs.
gonna
That's
think
normal.
that's the
Imagine how-
norm of life.
And now everyone's manifesting.
But what I
back
love
to
with
it.
her point is, I also saw the part where it's a woman, like she's like, I could see that. Why does it have to be a separation? Like she's like, I gotta be the strong, because anytime we label women, I hear that a lot, and I try not to. Damn, yo, why are you so masculine in that area? Because sometimes
We have to be.
we label strong
See,
as
yeah,
masculine.
like I said, you have to be.
We have to be.
We
have
get
no
it.
choice.
We put our underwear one leg at a time, just like you do. We all do. Everyone does it. One leg and draws at the same
You just
time.
probably don't wiggle as
What
much.
about you, bro?
No,
I'm
stop.
just saying.
I mean, everyone, one leg at a time. We all do it.
I mean, some of us have to do a little bit more for what we're wearing, so it's not the same.
Some of us just jump on in,
That's
and that's
true.
yeah. Some of us have like a whole process to put things
I have to
on.
stretch. You're
What
absolutely
you
right. I'm
know,
getting
like-
old, so
Definitely.
I have
yeah.
some layers. I got some ties, hooks, like a little bit more.
All right, so
I definitely
More
have.
work.
I definitely heavily agree with what you said, because I always like to go from the history aspect to even like far from beforehand with slavery and stuff, like how they used to do buck breaking and things of that nature, or like make an example of the
So
man a
before you
certain type
continue,
of a way.
explain buck breaking for the audience.
Pretty much they would take the man and they would systematically break him down, and whether it be sodomize or rape
Have
or whip it.
Oh, remember grape
in-
word.
Yeah, huh?
Be careful.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there goes the episode. Bye, everybody.
Nah.
See you next
You can
time.
always
It's
edit
always
it out.
grape. It's
You
grape.
can put
Yeah.
a little grape.
The actual grape emoji.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Welch's was in Erie, PA. I used to go there all the time.
All right, you
Grape
know what?
juice.
That's not connected to
I'm not even mad.
But
at
what
that.
you were saying, bro.
Yes,
So
continue,
it's
sir.
like seeing that, you know, after so long, it's like that seed of mistrust has been buried deep within our DNA, you know, and there's that distrust, and if there's no trust at the foundation of the relationship, there's not going to be any unity, because yes, it's good to be independent and stuff, but no man and no woman is an island to themselves. We have to be interdependent. This is how our communities work. We need this.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you can divide and, you know, split that, it's like you don't really have a nation. So I can see how it stems very far back. And I just hate to see the fact that we have to have this guard up always. You know, we always have to be on the rough, like we're going to throw a 1, 2, 3 combo at the next person, because it's like you're expecting, you know, you have a schema of things. You're expecting that it's going to go this way. It's going to get volatile. We're going to be snapping at each other. We're going to be at each other's throats. And that's my thing, you know?
Do you think that we perpetuate those ideas of ourselves? Because I've said before in the podcast, you know, sometimes, especially in the music that we listen to, it does say what you want. You know, I listen to all the gangster rap. I listen to all the nonsense. I
Yeah.
enjoy it, but I
Enjoy
know
it
how to
too, yeah.
separate myself from it. Some people don't,
There you
and
go,
they think
yep.
that this is what life needs to be.
He's absolutely
You
right.
know, what did Cameron say? I forget the track, but it's called "Bitches Ain't Shit But Hoes and Tricks." I beat my bitch with a stick and stuff, and whatever. You know, ain't nothing but a G thing. Notoriously talks about these things, and as you say, over time that becomes a part of the culture, and then we think that's normal.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, you just don't even know how to treat the other person. Like
Absolutely true.
what's the song? So I don't know if you guys seen on social media. It's a new track. I just heard it. It's called F&F by Glorilla. It's the one with the girl that she's singing with her friends, and it's like all her female friends, and they in the parking lot, and it goes FREE fuck nigga.
I ain't gonna lie, that
And I'm
joint slap. That joint slap.
SINGLE again with my what is it? SINGLE again with my outside of the
looking it up.
window with my wretched ass friends. So mind you, I love that track. That track is
I
fire.
have to
Right.
look it up.
Oh, it's so good.
It slaps.
It's good music, right?
But
I'm like, this definitely in Florida.
no, I think it's like Memphis. But my point being is that we're the only culture around the world that I know that makes something like that and then reinforces it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's because there's a narrative in the music industry. And I don't think people talk about that. And I think like as artists or anyone in the industry, like that's something people have to become aware of. Like when you get a little higher up and more mainstream stuff, like there are narratives that as an artist you have to push, especially if you're signed by a label. And I think the hard conversation that people don't want to have is like, sometimes these narratives aren't always good because the good narratives don't always push certain agendas and don't always bring in what's actually needed. So I feel like people get scared to have that conversation because of a lot of reasons. But I just think that just as artists and just as consumers to music or entertainment, like you have to be aware that there's a reason there are certain genres that speak about drugs more. And then the drug percentage goes up in certain areas.
Right.
But then my question, I've asked you this before too. I listen to music from all sorts of cultures, especially like I listen to a lot of Asian music, Japanese music, Korean music, all this stuff. And if you watch like Japanese hip hop, Korean hip hop and everything, they can rap about all these things, trapping or whatever. But then when they go to an interview, they still keep their cultural customs of being respectful, bowing. This is who I am. Hey, how you doing? They're an entertainer. Nobody thinks that they're a real person going out in the streets of Seoul, trapping out the bathhouse and everything. Like, no, it's a job. Why is it that we can't seem to get to that stage yet? Why do we?
Because it's embedded in our subconscious from generations after generations, bro. When you start realizing that NWA could sell, right? Could, because they burned all the CDs, all that stuff. When you start
great publicity.
realizing that they could sell, and you saw how people are gravitating to that more than the I went to school the other day. Nobody wanted to hear that no more. Because when I can see something in my community and it relates hard, sometimes it makes
You got a point.
or that people who have the
Relatability.
money, you're like, yo, I can't make it out. I don't see my mom with a good high paying job. I see this guy who's talking about
Speaks to you.
trapping out the bando. So what I'm gonna start doing. A lot of people ain't been in that. Because if they really were in there, they're scared. They're scared. There's stories that I know, right, personally, that I know changed my whole perspective because I had to do stuff that I didn't want to do.
Didn't want to do
Well,
it.
there's a huge they're romanticizing, I think, the hood life.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, it's been-
And now
So
it's
much.
almost like I wanna struggle. I wanna be in the
yes,
hood.
exactly.
I
The struggle
wanna,
Olympics now.
I am
There
a
we go,
thug.
yep.
Like I'm about that life, and then
It's
someone
great
pulls
with the
up
hipster
and they're
lifestyle
like, "Oh
first,
wait,
you
I was
know?
just joking. I saw these signs on TikTok," but then they're throwing, and I think that
Yeah.
people are really like tapping into that, and drill is becoming a really big thing. I love drill music. Like you would probably see me on the train and think I'm listening to like Taylor Swift or something, and like I'm literally like trapping out like in my head. So it's like, but I listen to drill music and I don't think like let me go shoot up like this,
Yeah,
you
like-
know, like so I feel like it's just on the consumer, and then it's also a matter of like if you can relate to it. Like there's certain things in some music that I listen to because I've been through it or I know people who've been through it. So it's like there's a power in that, and I think a lot of artists saw that, and some artists are just the truth very privileged, and they haven't struggled. They might have the talent, but they don't know what it's like to put in certain work or to do stuff outside of this. So it's like when they see that certain artists are getting praised because they're literally just talking about their life, it's like, well, what
Let me
am I
go do
going to
that
talk
too.
about how privileged I am? So it's like,
Hey,
let
you
me.
can stun on somebody being privileged.
Of course you can, but is it going to sell as much as like
Ask Jaden Smith. I
other
mean, he's doing pretty
songs,
good for
yeah.
himself.
And then it's marketing. Like, can you also
marketing, too.
market
That's
yourself?
true.
Like, you can be privileged, but if you're a douche as a personality, like,
So
who's
then,
really gonna go with you? You know?
so then, I want to add on to this with the whole thing about black men and women being able to get along. R&B. There's more R&B than ever nowadays. Things about couples coming together. People say, like you were saying that music. Well, you didn't say. I hear people say online a lot that there's no good music nowadays. I say that's absolute nonsense.
You have to look for it.
Yeah,
you can
there's
find
not
it
a
on
lot of
music.
good mainstream.
That's the thing.
Music.
Yeah, there's
everything's
definitely
marketed
good.
towards
yeah,
you.
everything's being like resampled. Everything's kind of, even with movies, like nothing's really fresh. There's not a lot of new ideas.
Yeah, waiting for some cream.
But there's so much romantic music out there. What are you saying?
You
No,
talked
there is some
about-
romantic music.
All
out
right,
there.
let's even go with R&B.
Yes.
There is you don't see a lot of even collaboration amongst R&B artists. Why it's a very, like, I'm better than you. I'm not.
Yeah, the
you
king
don't
of
see
R&B.
too many
That's
team.
true.
The last big team up we've seen, big team up, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead in the comments if you want to. Was Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, two mega? Even though Whitney wasn't as big in her thing, you don't see two
There's a lot of
entities.
ego. You're right.
Yeah, it's the same thing with
And they pop.
rappers. Is the same thing now. Back to this whole topic with our community. Sometime ego, sometime pride doesn't make us want to say, you know what, my sister, I'm sorry.
Dude, someone
Money.
sell
I'm
their
sorry
soul
that
for
I
the bag.
offended you.
Exactly.
Money
like you said,
too.
money.
Money.
Those are the things
Money,
that help
dude.
people.
Put the money on the table.
A lot of artists, at least
Put the
that
money
I've
on the
seen
table.
in working with them, is like there's a lot of talent, but to get a feature with like a high end artist, it's like 6 figures.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's kind of like I think people go into the music industry like, oh, I can do this because I'm talented.
Talent don't.
And it's like,
that is not what you mean.
Okay, but can you pay for your studio sessions? Can you
There
pay
you
for
go.
those features? Can you pay for all of this? And they don't realize like you're spending more than you're making your
more.
first few years in the industry. So it's kind of like when it goes to expanding on music, there's a huge underground world of music with dope music. Like there's a lot of really good music out there, but we're so focused on these mainstream artists because they're the ones with the money to really market themselves.
Artists, get your business together.
so-
Get your business right.
Before you go,
Go ahead.
I think this is something that we talked about before. I mentioned where in our community we don't really idolize or we don't prop up people that actually benefit us in the community.
We don't.
We rather, the basketball player or the football player, the athlete or the musician, but never somebody that's actually doing good in your community. One of my
Very hard to
classmates
find.
from high school, he's like some sort of politician in the Bronx or whatever. I don't hear anybody talking about him. You know, like I don't hear. I'm like, yeah, that's
This
cool.
is somebody you went to school with?
Yeah, like my
That's dope.
direct classmate.
Oh,
I
wow.
think he's like
that's
a council
cool.
person or whatnot, but I don't hear him.
Yeah.
being
Yeah, they
propped up.
shouted out. Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's not obtainable. If you don't see it in your school, we don't have a lot of career days anymore in that.
No, we don't.
I remember
I've
career
been
day at
trying to
all,
get to a
right?
career day.
Career
Shout me
day.
out. I'm trying to come to Vent Doctor.
What is that?
So why I'm
Shameless
saying
plug.
this
I've been
is
invited to a few.
what
career
you
days.
see.
You been invited to a career day?
No, but I've been invited like to my high school to speak about
That's-
we
careers.
don't
that's-
even have that.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
nowadays.
I mean, my high school didn't really do career day that intensely. Like, I struggled a little figuring out what I wanted to do. And even college, like our career day was like, they didn't break down the industry the way I had hoped they would, you know? I think schools are focusing on so many other things.
They
It's
focus
like,
on getting money.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
it's a
there's a
business at
lot
the end of the day.
more
They
that
churning
we
you
can
in
be
and out.
learning and doing.
But yeah, I was saying. So when what you're gonna strive to is what you see. So if I see a lot of rappers and I see a lot of ball players, and that's the type of money, like, you know, what did I want to do when I was in high school? I wanted to play football, right? Because everyone said, "Oh, you're big enough, you could do this, play this," and I was happened to be okay at it, right? So they don't push. Hey, I see you're really good at your hands. You want to
Yeah.
become a mechanic?
Yep.
Nobody says that.
Oh, I
They
do.
took- they
But you
took-
can make
I
so much
do.
money.
Dude, all I do is try to
Man,
find people.
I got
everywhere.
a plumber friend making more money than I ever seen as a teacher.
Yep. Dude, today.
Ever seen.
Wait, are you a
Today.
teacher?
I mean,
Not anymore.
Oh,
he's
that's
not.
cool. What you
Yeah.
teach?
Third grade.
Oh, that's so
Yeah. Way
awesome.
back
They must
when.
have been a little bit of a headache, but
Yeah,
fun.
but it was good. It was good because a lot of them didn't
Yeah,
have
worse.
like, you know, somebody to look up to. So I try to
That's
make
dope.
it as fun.
I
So
love
third
working
grade?
with kids.
Third grade.
Ooh, in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sorry. Good.
Well, she's
Sorry.
from the Bronx.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I'm from the Bronx.
I
Okay,
mean-
number one in American arson back from 96 to 2002, the Bronx, third graders.
You know where hip
Look
hop
it up.
also came
Wow.
from?
Look it up.
Wow.
You know where
That
hip
was
hop
a
also
very
came from?
specific
Yeah, the
facts.
Bronx. I'm
Exactly.
just saying, but still, them kids was bad, bro.
But
Nah, they was saying
specific
schools on
facts.
fire.
fair enough.
Nah, I will. Well, we fact check a lot. I guess.
Little
I love
arsonist.
that.
we definitely should revisit this. And hey, I love your opinion on
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
And I say when we revisit this, have some African American women just give their plight, so we can
Yes.
understand actually what they're going through. Because a lot of times we only can see, and it's only through our lens.
Exactly.
So if I think
Yeah.
you're an asshole to me, I'm gonna say you're an asshole, right? But maybe you're an asshole because 12 dudes before that
Just-
treated you so badly that this is now your new defense mechanism. Is that
Yeah.
how I say it
It's
right?
your
Okay.
reality.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
you said that though. I was just reading a
Right.
book and they were talking about that, and it's like we don't all live in the same reality. Like how all of you
No.
are interpreting this moment is not
Right.
the same to how I'm interpreting it
Right.
right now. So
Exactly.
it's
Facts.
like we get really caught up in our reality and in our world, and we tend to overthink, or at least I like would
There's
overthink
10
and
conversations
stuff.
going on. 10.
Yeah,
5
but
right
you're
here,
focusing
and then our
on
head
like
ones. Yeah.
so
Ooh,
many
that's a
different
bar.
things. So it's just so intense.
I'm
So you got your mic dropped.
He said 10, 5 right now. What's going on?
in your head.
Oh,
But you're right. Like
you're
our
right.
realities
I never
are
thought of
so
that.
different, and because we don't know what everyone else's reality, and we just like as a community of like just humans alone suck at communication. That it's just like we struggle to even process. Like I was just with someone the other day, and they were like, "Oh, well, I thought you were thinking this, and that's why I acted like this." And I was like, "Well, I thought this, and that's
Coulda
why I
just
acted."
asked.
And it's like, wow, if you would have just came up to me, we could have just like
Wow.
Talked about it.
collaborated together. You
Right.
know, like we would have figured it
Right.
out. So I think that we need to be more conscious of the fact that we live in our own reality.
Yes.
Very much.
One thing I love about Peepthiswom, we can talk about this and it leads so
Many ways.
many ways.
Many different
Right?
ways, different rabbit
And we
holes.
want to say this is one of our favorite, not even interviews, but discussions with our guests. So that's pretty
Exactly.
dope.
I
Yeah,
feel so
for real.
privileged.
So let's swing this a little bit, right? So we talked about music, we talked about aspirations, we talked about the community of African American men and women, right?
Mhm.
But let's talk about money and see how money changes a lot of things.
Mhm.
Like when you got a lot of money, you got a lot of happiness. I stick by that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A lot of people say money don't make happiness. It depends on what you're striving to be happy for.
You
right?
live
Yeah.
differently. When you have
Differently.
money, you live. I mean,
What? Yes.
I didn't grow up with money. Like
Right.
I definitely struggled, but like I lived comfortably compared to like
A lot of
a lot of
Yeah.
people, and like my mom worked really really hard to make sure that even if she wasn't comfortable, like
Right.
I was
Kids are.
comfortable.
Right.
Yes.
So it was like I saw the struggle, but then like I personally didn't go through it as much as like my mom did per se. And like when I got a glimpse of having money and like really having money, like being able to walk into a sneaker store and take out like $1,000 in cash, like here you go, and like move
Feels
around
good.
like that, you get treated so like you don't live in the same world.
Nope.
Yeah,
You're not
exactly.
even like,
So true.
and it sucks to say, but like if that's just a couple thousands, imagine people with, you're not even human at that point.
They want to give it to you.
Yeah.
You don't walk the same, and it sounds really weird to say, but it's true.
So
You
true.
walk
It
a
is.
different earth than everyone else because the
So
world
true.
and the rules don't apply to you the same because you have the resources to be above. So it's just like money does buy happiness, but you have to be happy internally to enjoy money because you can get money and be miserable.
Right.
Well, before you go,
let's
before you
continue.
continue,
Let's show the topic. Let's do it.
oh, just
What's the
you know what,
topic?
Arthur, just bring it on in. She said everything.
What's the topic?
Happiness. No, not at all. You can focus on what you love, and I think you'll always be happy doing that. But sometimes that's not always what makes the most money. So money does not buy happiness, but there's a flip side to it as well. When you have money, you have the freedom to pursue other things. If you're smart, you can use money in a way to achieve a happy life.
All these fucking idiots.
Oh, not that, but that's
That was so perfectly timed.
That's a
though.
perfect segue into what I want to say.
He's broke.
That's a perfect segue into what I want to say. So, first of all, I'm gonna give a little mini rant real quick.
Give it a rant.
I fucking hate it when people with money and privilege tell poor people that money doesn't buy happiness. I don't like that.
Agreed.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not negating that everybody doesn't have their own struggle in their own way. Let's not
Right.
compare struggles.
Right.
But I constantly see people with money telling you that money doesn't buy happiness. And if that's the case, then how come Warren Buffett never went broke? Because he knows that his money will keep
well,
his
most people
happiness.
with money
also-
are miserable.
Yeah.
Most
But also
who
people
grow
with
up-
money are rich that are like wealthy are smart.
Yeah.
Unless
They're like born into it.
Yeah,
I
unless
feel
they're
like
born
it's a little
with it,
different. Yeah.
That's just,
But hold on,
that's
I won't
privilege.
say anything yet because we haven't heard from DeJounte. What's
So,
your
yo,
point?
DeJounte-
Does
Yeah, I
money
haven't
buy
heard your
happiness?
voice.
It does, of course. It definitely buys happiness. It gives you more time. It gives you more time on your hand. Like what the guy said, you could pursue more things. You can invest. Going back off what you said, you do have to be internally happy. There's people who had millions of dollars, and they off themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I do believe that there is a balance to life. I don't think anyone should come into God's green earth and be like, well, you know, I'm gonna be pious and meek, and I don't want like you need to have your needs met, and to go above and beyond that,
Yes.
you can search even further up higher.
The only way the resources of this world gets better is if each of us create our own resources to help create this world and make this world better. If we all individually create our own entities and bring to the table as resources, does that not make
Yeah, that's
us
self-awareness. You
Exactly.
have
You know what I'm
to
saying?
create your self-awareness. And money, I don't think money brings happiness. I think money is the tool to get to happiness.
Yeah, this is
Because you can use
Exactly.
money and use it maliciously, and you can use money and then lose everything. And like you said, people off themselves because now they're broke. Like you have to be someone who's willing to enjoy life and enjoy the moment with $0 in your bank account, and enjoy life and enjoy the moment with $1 million in your bank account.
Go ahead, bro. You was about to say
I
something.
was just gonna say one thing that
Go
this is
ahead,
something
bro.
that I've thought about myself is that does money buy me happiness? You goddamn right. Let's stop the cap. But also, money will never fix the problems that I have in here.
Yes.
I'll always admit that
Right.
it won't fix
Yeah.
these two problems.
That's true.
But everything else around me, it could fix a good amount of them.
So true.
Yeah.
You know?
Majority.
Definitely pay off my student loans.
Goddamn.
Definitely.
Oh, I'd probably be
Yeah.
investing. I'm taking money and I'm taking those resources and man, I gotta get some people some businesses and people set up, dude. I need help, dude. I'm growing. Shout out to LLC, you know, the Vent Doctor. That's
Yeah, Van Doctor, Snack King. What up?
shameless plug, snacking.
I love it.
Get that Christmas discount.
Yeah.
Come
Love
clean up
it.
your chimney.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, dude.
I just
A
messed
guy
up.
in the
Okay,
grocery
good.
store, honestly, the other day I was like buying my groceries and he was behind me and he's like, yo, he said I got him. And I was like, dude, if you really want me, I'll pay for your groceries. But he was joking, obviously. But I told him, bro, come at Christmas time, I got you, brother. That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm grocery shopping and just like doing it because
That's dope. You don't
Why
see a lot
not?
of people doing stuff like that.
I do it at the
Yeah.
coffee line all the time. Like he does.
His
He
money-
does it all the time with giving
What?
to homeless people.
Oh,
Like helping the homeless. He's always shamelessly
I don't
doing
do
this.
that.
He's just like, boop, 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 boop. He's gonna go broke giving away to homeless people. Not playing. No, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back.
It always comes back. When you put things out with good intention,
Like
it comes
homeless
back.
people?
Yeah.
Homeless?
Right.
Oh, hey, I remember you.
Nah,
Here's $10 million.
that panhandler gonna come back, wait for that $5. Brother. Hey, where you at today?
But yeah, you were saying?
No, I was saying money does achieve happiness, but it can't fully make you happy because if you're not, like he says this all the time, if you're not happy with yourself, All Rich does is just give you more means to either uplift or destroy.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of people who get rich, right? Start drinking lean or whatever. Start doing more drugs, right? Because they didn't fix what was wrong in the first place.
Someone just brought that up to me like a day ago about why do so many people, when they start getting money, especially like in the music industry, do they automatically go into doing harder drugs? But it's because you can afford it. You have the means now to afford it, and then the stress is just when you get more money and when you start doing more stuff, you have so much more stress, and because a lot of people didn't heal and work on themselves to be able to in a healthy way deal with that. Now it's like, well, I have the access, might as well take that pain away real quick and then stay up to record this song to then go to my interview tomorrow. So it's almost like, are we even like properly giving a balance to people in this industry? Are we dealing with mental health? Are we having those conversations? You know, like
also rich drugs and broke drugs aren't the same.
Yes.
Like you could drink all the lean that you want in the world, but there is nothing.
Good quality lean is different.
But also look what happened to that YSL member. You heard? Like his kidneys failed and his liver. I mean the amount of consumption. But when you got money coming in, like she was saying, that was so real. Imagine your normal 9 to 5 or whatever your drug of. Let's say you was even a dealer. You don't work 12 hours, but when you are a rapper or a musician and you're not working 18 hours.
You're always at work.
You're in the studio for 12.
12 hours.
Historically, artists die.
Then you have to, get to an interview. Then you got to go onto the show. Yo, sometimes you probably only sleep 4 hours a day. If that. See? If that.
Artists do die young.
A lot of them do.
A lot of musicians die the earliest young. Legends have died young, have they not?
Money doesn't make you happy. It doesn't. It's
work.
It just helps the achievement. Like, I have money, right? And I'm still have depression. Right? I still have to seek my therapist.
Yep.
Now, can I go on a vacation and have moments of great fun? Hell yeah, because I can afford it. Okay. But does it stop me from having depressive thoughts?
But that fun isn't always real. Like, I know people who I've messaged and I'm like, wow, you're having the time of your life and you're so happy. And they're like, don't let social media fool you. I'm miserable. And you see them smiling at the club with 2 girls, like having the time of their life. And then they go home and they're
by
lonely.
themselves.
Or they're with someone, but like then, like I know a lot of people get into relationships and they're just like, it's just like placeholders. It's not even like you're allowing yourself to emotionally connect because you're so mentally like gone.
So you mentioned placeholders, right? There was a social media topic we talked about with Russ, and Russ said about a lot of us don't know how to be alone. Yeah, we get somebody just to fill a spot because we think we need that person or we need a relationship. So you mentioning that, I could see even more coming from where your viewpoint, saying like, yo, damn.
I'll say
that's true.
Money, well, everything that we have in our lives, there's always going to be, for most of us, a void to fill. And no matter what we throw into the void, it may like stop it for a little bit or suck it up or like slow it down for a bit, but that void will always open back up. And we always trying to fill that void with something. A lot of people, they'll either use retail therapy, they'll use food therapy. Right. I'm known for using music and video game therapy, exercise therapy.
People use a lot of unhealthy stuff too. It's not, people lean on.
Yeah, you can say so.
Okay. People like,
sexual
like,
therapy.
So like that's a real thing. I know some people.
Unhealthy sexual therapy. Not like you can have good sexual therapy.
Well, there is sex therapy. Yeah, like that's a real thing.
Yeah,
like you can go to sex therapy.
Yes.
For a sexual addiction.
That or just like there's therapy for you to go to like to talk about sex and like for yourself to find yourself. To work on yourself. Like maybe you don't think
that's what my girl had to do because she was all afterwards with the energy in her body after 3 kids. After 3 kids, after 3 of my babies.
But then with money,
that's work.
I think that
talk to me.
Because sorry, how much?
No, talk, bro, talk.
He's talking.
Go ahead. I've been talking.
He over here, with the Zamunda bracelets and everything. He over here looking royal and everything. I don't want to take the crown from him.
No, not at all. Go ahead,
brother.
But I personally think maybe it's just because I don't like it. I think there's so much thrown at us in our daily lives about making sure that we have money for understandable reasons. But then there's so many unhealthy things that we see about having money. The lottery. reality television.
Well, lottery helps
I
pay
love
for the
reality
roads and the
TV,
schools.
I know. We'll get to that later.
I love reality.
Because you watch the Kardashians, I know.
love the Kardashians,
and I used to love
none of you
watching
guys
it too.
can convince me otherwise.
Oh,
I'm not trying to.
against you. I'm
You
not
can have
against
it.
you.
I don't
Just
want
had
it.
to make
You
it.
can have
Can't
it.
believe it.
You
Kris
can have
Jenner
it.
is the biggest marketer on the planet. You can't tell me
What?
otherwise.
Of course, they're the smartest. What? We're all talking shit.
But even just with
I'm
that,
not.
like
They're
that's a
making
perfect
money off their
example of
kids.
people how
They exploit the crap
They're
out of them.
rich.
it's like you can even say even with them,
Yeah.
if they were so if money solved all their problems, then why do they still have these situations going on? Because money not going to stop a man from cheating on you.
No.
No, it's not.
Money not going to keep a man either,
No, it's not.
and money's not going to
money.
make you feel pretty.
Or a woman, yeah.
Well,
No.
I mean, I'll feel pretty in $1 million.
I don't know
ain't
about
gonna
you,
lie,
but when I
would
have
feel-
my nails and my
I would
lashes
feel-
done, I
but-
feel really
But
goddamn
money
pretty.
does, though.
money
'cause
make you look attractive, but it won't make you.
Yes.
It
Man,
makes you
money
look
make you
very
feel great.
attractive.
It don't make you
man.
look attractive, but it may
I
not
got
make you
some friends.
feel.
I
Money
got
can
some
make you
friends.
attractive, but
Absolutely.
it can't make you attractive internally.
Absolutely
Yes.
not.
You can be
That's
the
the
most
word.
beautiful woman and have nothing to offer.
Shitty character,
Trophy
Horrible
wives.
character.
no
no-
values, no morals, nothing.
You know, or you
Oh,
can
yeah,
have
that's
morals
another
and values. I
conversation.
think some people have too many morals and values. I think we hold
stand on a
ourselves
pedestal.
too much, and then
Yeah.
it's just like you're not even holding your morals and values true. You're just putting other people down because it doesn't align with yours.
Just being self-righteous.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, we get it. You
Back
do
to
nothing
those.
and go home. Like,
Ooh, God,
you know, like,
goddamn.
we get
I ain't
it.
mad at that.
No, that was back to what he had said before.
Okay.
The different personalities, the different perspectives on the thing.
Oh, definitely.
That was
What about you, bro?
Pretty much everything you guys are saying have been like hitting on the spot. I honestly believe it's a balance at the end of the day.
It is.
Money's very important. You need it. You need it as like you said, you use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the most part. But yeah, it's a constant battle too at the same time. So I feel like you have to have that healthy approach, that holistic approach, pretty much. So when it comes down to it.
Yeah. You know, can I throw a little side rant before we close?
Oh, please.
this
I
up?
love a good
A
rant.
little side, like what I don't like with people who don't have money is their contentment. I know there has to be leaders and followers, but sometimes faith and religion can cause people to be okay with just staying in the same spot. So I hear a lot of like when you listen to songs like "It Is Well with My Soul," so it's like whatever my lot, you have taught me to say it as well. So it's like instead of me trying to get out of it,
Yeah, that makes you
I'm just trying to
submit.
say, you know what? Or it says verses like, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. So it's telling you to stay at this kind of level. Don't try. You ever hear people, they have so
They're-
much things going on.
Everybody,
right,
I'm a wrong, bro. That's
and
why
they be
I'm
like,
only
you know
wrong,
what?
y'all."
I'm just going to deal with it. This is my life. I'm like,
Yeah, they say miserable.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you don't have
Hey.
to. We're not trees. We
Right.
weren't meant to be stuck in
Talk
one
about it.
spot. We were
Yeah.
meant to branch out and
Right.
be
People
everywhere.
Try
that do
Nah, they
that,
be
they're
so
just using
scared.
that as an excuse because they're afraid
it's
to
a-
bring it back to try.
Yep.
but it's a
But it's
It's a
generational.
lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it is.
You're
Most
raised
people.
to think like if you don't work a regular 9 to 5 and make money and you're hustling. Like a girl I work with, she's older. She's like in her 50s, and she tells me all the time. She's like, I'm so used to working in a factory where I have to be consistently working and moving, and our job's a little bit more lenient and laid back, where you can kind of
Right.
just like vibe out and do what you have to do, but like at a reasonable pace. So
Right.
she's like living life right now. She's like, this is the best thing
Yeah.
ever. I didn't think I could ever have a job like this and get paid more than I was getting paid in the other job. And I think that annoys a lot of older generational people.
Yeah, because they come from the factory generation, the
Yeah,
post
like I
World War
had
II
to
and all
work
that. You
so
remember?
hard for the bare
Remember,
minimum.
they didn't smile in pictures. You see what I'm saying? We're taking
I
pictures
smile
all
at
the
all
time.
my work
They
pictures.
smile at
They're from
pictures.
like
The minute they come out with
angry
cameras
So
that
they
we're
have
like-
nothing to smile about.
Oh yeah, we're going back to like
Pictures of these
remember the
people.
Pilgrims?
Get back to work.
Oh, man.
Oh, I mean,
No, but yeah, I used
what I'm
to
saying?
because that's the reverse. It's like,
It's true.
like instead of you trying to achieve happiness, you love misery.
Yeah.
And you know that famous saying, misery loves company.
Yeah.
So I start to hang around people.
And
You
that
ever seen
creates
circles?
chaos.
I had to dead some circles the other day. Why?
felt Nice.
Because I'm here trying to elevate, and when you feel comfortable here,
You hold me back.
you're
bro.
holding me to that. Because then I
Absolutely.
started feeling
Nah, I can't. be here.
comfortable. I started like, you
Yeah.
know what, and that's not the way to go. If you have that mindset, stop staying with
But that's-
miserable people.
That's also why some relationships don't work out because people have aspirations for more. And it's when you have dreams and aspirations that you know that you can achieve, when you actually have the ability to do those things and you're with somebody, friend or significant other or family, and they're just, or they hold you back or they don't have any dreams or aspirations, it's like, I can't have you around me. It's going to be poison.
Or they stay together and that relationship ages and turns crappy and ages so old and decrepit.
And you're miserable.
Early too, that you become resentful. And how long do you hold on to that resentment? You celebrate anniversaries where they're spiteful.
And you look at that person one day and you say, damn, I should have never been with you.
Right.
Not me though. I haven't said that. I'm just saying.
Sometimes it's not just,
absolutely. But that's what happens.
Sometimes it's like not just like you both don't have ambition. Like I just got out of a relationship not too long ago, and we both had ambition. Like we were both kind of in the industry and we were both doing stuff just in our own lanes. And it wasn't us holding each other back. It was just the place in our life was holding each other back. But we kind of were able, even though it was hard and it was like, shoot, like we could have supported each other. We could have done this. But in the place in our lives that we were at, it's like we weren't good for each other for that. And the minute we separated, like not on bad terms, not on like a I hate you type of vibe. It was just the minute we separated and just kept it cordial, all these doors opened for him and all these doors opened for me. And it was just like, wow, like we weren't necessarily holding ourselves back because he was super supportive. He like is the person who really pushed me into what I'm doing right now. But the place in our lives wasn't it. And that's where awareness comes in. It's like, if we can't be aware that like, I need to do this alone. I have to go through this journey by myself so that I can be the best and then I can support you and then I can help you. Like we have to be aware of that too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
codependency of it all.
Sometimes roads, you know, when you're going on like let's say the 95, right? It goes straight for a while, but then there's exits that you have to take.
Yeah, dude.
And sometimes we're not going in the same direction. So that when you're saying that is real, because I have seen so many relationships where, you know, they're on the same path. But then he's like, yo, I want to do so, or she wants to do something. And that path doesn't align with that. So sometimes you have to take that exit. It doesn't mean
you don't care about
you don't care
or bad blood. It just means
Yeah.
that it wasn't what was right for you in that time.
Mm-hmm.
And everything happens for a reason. Like you have to believe that like the universe is closing and opening certain doors for you so that you can get into the right place. And it's easier said than done, right? Because it hurts. Like you're sitting there in a breakup or you're sitting there, you lose a friend and you're just like, wow. And you're trying to think of all these negative things, but then it's just like, you know what? Like
the negative things are just you're thinking all the reasons what did I not do? Because I've been working on this. Yeah, you've been doing all this work, so all negative thoughts come to your head
for sure.
All I tell myself in those moments
you've done everything you could do.
All I tell myself in those moments is that, man, I can't wait to cry into my millions about this.
There you go. Exactly right. That's right.
I can't wait to cry to your
I wish
blessing.
I could make music because I feel like you guys have that advantage of like, you know what? I'm going to pour my soul into this song and put it out there. But I feel like for me, like I pour it into like my events.
But you know who gets paid before
you know
who gets paid before the artist though, right? I just said this to you Saturday. Who gets paid before the artist?
We do. But like
exactly.
not as much, you know. We get a nice little
Hey, just get 10 of them. Do what the labels do.
Yo, I just want to thank you for coming into our TED Talk.
Absolutely.
This was beautiful.
Drop your IG again.
Stellar
Drop your
Tech.
IG.
Yes.
my IG.
Yes, drop it.
Oh, it's at @zeroofficially_Jace. JAYS.
What about Stellar Connect?
Oh, at
Yes.
@Stellar Connect. All my Instagrams are like together. So like when you
Perfect.
go to one, it leads you to the other ones.
So listen, before we close, because I do have something I want to say to you guys. Just want to know that this interview was I keep saying interview.
No,
Why?
This episode.
Why? This episode 23.
Jordan.
That's
6
why.
rings. Chicago.
Episode 23 was
Reinsdorf
dope.
family.
We
Yes.
appreciate you
Thank
having you
This
on.
was fun.
Yo, I just want to say I love how the conversation just like it was a conversation.
Yeah.
All right, listen out here. If you want to come on Peepthiswom and you really want to come share with us, have a conversation. Let's not be dry here. She's showing she set the bar really high now.
That's true.
So,
That is very
so I
true.
feel
Thank
bad.
you.
All right, but before
Thomas
I
said
know,
it high with Stop and Go. I love that joint. Stop and Go.
Yeah.
But, you know,
but
I love
before
Rain. Rain is dope, man.
before we close,
you
right?
got to get some hip hop up in the bit.
Because who's supposed to close on this episode? You, right? Were you supposed to close?
Nah, I don't think so. Hold on.
I got.
I thought it was you. Sorry, my fault.
It is.
Ooh, I like your bag.
What you
I'm
got-
just joking.
what you
I'm
got
just
over here?
joking.
That's a
So-
nice bag.
Oh, thank you. Yo, shout
I
out
like
to
that color.
shout out to MCM, even though y'all not.
See, I told you,
supporting me.
money buy happiness.
But it does.
Money buys happiness.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm like, I could be real happy with a nice new bag.
Real happy.
All right, so each of you
I
guys.
can be real happy.
Hold on, real quick, yo. Each of you guys really mean a lot to me, right? So this one is the Iron Man, and the story behind it is, yo, Wise.
What? Give me
Just,
stuff for it.
just take it. Hold on. Let me. This is my time. Let me have this. All right. So Wise, you are. Not seriously, bro.
No, I'm
He's flustered. He's
Yeah.
flustered.
Yeah. I don't want you to feel bad. This is. I want to.
Iron Man.
So
Let me have this moment. Let me have this moment.
So Iron Man, right? This is limited edition of Victor Watch, right? Well, I want you to know that a lot of times when I hang out, you're really the wise guy. Like, I truly appreciate you. Iron Man is a smart guy, right? He does get himself into trouble, but he has a way of supporting the people he loves. He will always be there when you need him. Might not always be there when he wants to at times.
Sounds like me.
He has his things to do.
exactly
Iron
like
Man.
me.
You, man, I appreciate you. You know, I love you, brother. We've been riding together. You have helped me on this journey, not just music, but adding you to this Peepthiswom. I truly appreciate you. So you're the Iron Man of the team.
Yo,
Oh, snap.
that's beautiful.
Let me see that. That is so cute.
Yo, that is fire. Dude.
Yeah, that is
Victor.
dumb
All
fire.
right, so right now
On the back?
We gonna find
it's
out.
the Marvel, so it's limited edition. Even if you don't like watches,
Well, I
it's gonna grow in value
sure.
I
in a
can't be
couple
wearing
years.
this much
Definitely.
now.
It's all right, even if you do.
I'm gonna have to.
We have the cleaning plan.
So
Don't
I'm just
worry.
waiting for my suit to come on.
Oh no!
right.
You gotta
Oh, you gotta open
You
it.
gotta open it.
See, that's how you know he doesn't wear
I'm not even
watches.
gonna open it. I'm not even gonna
He said,
open
I'm
it.
not gonna open it. I
Of
got
course,
little hands, little
of course, I don't know you guys' sizes, so that's
Yeah, I know.
easy to go. All right.
That's a nice watch.
So this
though.
one right here is the Black Panther, right? This one is all about villages, right? And I want to talk to you about, man, I put you in some situations in my life that we, thank God, right? Thank God. In college,
Yeah, thank God.
and you always had my back every
You had
step
my
of the
back.
way. You are a true warrior. You defend those who you love. You will give your own life. You know, I've seen you let me borrow your car, and I only knew you for the first 2 weeks. 2 weeks, he was like, yo, take my key. I was like, yo, you don't even know me. You let me drive your legend around because I had a quick date and I had an interview. And he let me. I was 18 years old with no car, and those buses run per the hour.
Oh, I know.
There was no Uber and
Them Penn
stuff.
State buses,
yeah,
bro.
right,
Them Penn
yeah,
State
yeah.
buses.
Before
Yeah.
Uber was a
So,
thing.
so
Penn State
man,
buses.
so bro, this is yours.
Yo,
The Black
beautiful.
Panther. I should have showed him. Can we show the camera? I didn't even show that.
You should
The
show
Black
it.
Panther.
That's.
That's
I
you.
appreciate you, my brother.
Oh, I wish I brought gifts for everyone.
I didn't expect this. This don't happen. on
Yeah,
the regular.
this doesn't happen.
I
You got
love
the special
that.
episode apparently.
My
I know.
brother.
I feel like
It's a
celebrity.
I kind of hinted at this, but for you, to me, you're the Spider-Man of the team.
Oh, my favorite one.
Yes, Spider-Man.
And this is why I say he's a Spider. He's very creative. He's an artistic person, right? And he will defend the people he loves as well. He's super strong, not only physically, but mentally. And Spider-Man, a lot of times, he's very strategic. You see, when he shoots his webs and stuff, it's strategically not only to hold, but to also, he maps out, okay, how can I make this happen? And you're the co-founder of the team. I appreciate you. Man, you held it down. When I had times where I was like, yo, I don't want to do this no more. He was like, nah, keep doing it. He's like, he kept on motivating me to do these things, man. And yo, you're the Peter Parker of the team, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate
brother,
you.
man.
Appreciate
What about you? What you get yourself?
Oh, so what I got myself. All right.
You said I got myself an oyster. Oyster perpetual.
All right. So what I got myself, right?
Okay. Let me
Is the
see.
Captain America.
I think you gotta get the Captain watch. The Captain watch.
So
Oh, that one is sexy.
Yes.
That one is
beautiful.
sexy.
Captain
Oh,
America
I
of the
love
thing.
that.
Yeah.
I will ride to the death for my family.
That
You
one
guys
is
see, I
sexy.
will serve. I will be there in the trenches with you guys. You need me, I am there, right? But also, if you mess with my team, I will punish you.
Oh, he said I got the Punisher one
He
too.
did the Punisher too.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1.
Oh, I feel like I'm with the Avengers.
Nice.
I didn't even expect this.
Oh, this
Yes.
is the 2-for-1.
Now I know
Okay,
why you asked me
nice.
about do I like
Right?
watches.
Yeah,
I gave you my whole
already
story. I'm
knew
like,
You
you
get the
did.
whole story?
Yeah, I was like,
So,
yo, this
let me see.
because I worked in watches
So
before.
we got the
that's
beautiful
cool, yeah.
watches. I love
I'm like,
these.
yeah.
I hope y'all love them.
nice.
I hope
Those are
y'all love
so
the story
nice.
behind
I
them.
love the story.
I'm gonna get me one of those.
Spider-Man's
Those
my
are
favorite,
fire.
though.
Yeah, that's
He's my
definitely
favorite
fire. I was
superhero.
watching this on HT.
Yeah, I love the Captain America.
No,
Yo,
this
that
one is
joint's
nice.
fire.
This one looks like if you hit somebody with it, they're going to definitely be in love with America.
All you gotta do is give them a backhand.
This one just looks like, oh, say.
That Captain America?
Wait, I want to take.
Do you
like
feel
a-
the weight on these things?
So before,
Lord.
guys, I
Yes,
hope
sir.
y'all truly love it, and
I do.
Yo, I do.
Just wanna
Thank
do
you.
this.
Much love.
Now I got to
So-
wear this at every performance.
here's my advice for
You guys
today.
gonna see this on the next episodes?
Remember where you came from and the team that you have. Listen, no man is an island. Even when you climb that ladder, somebody's holding the bottom.
Mhm.
Even if you needed somebody to hold it at the top so you climb. Listen, everyone loves to say they're by themselves, but they're never. No one has ever done anything, even if it's a thought, right? Somebody sometimes plant that in, like, even for me with stocks, sometimes it's not, oh, you need to buy 100, but yo, watch the market today. Simple things help people make big decisions, and they want to say, I did it myself. No one has ever done anything by themselves.
Facts.
And this is just a humble gift that I'm showing on screen to show you that support those who have your back. Watch and make sure that they're good too. But also, like how they do in the airplane, take care of yourself before you take care of others. All right?
Ah, shit.
Peep This One, episode 23. Like, subscribe, comment, and tell us where you are.